Hello, everyone, and welcome to Author to Author. Well, many of you now know me as publisher, but I've been doing this for about 6 years, and I'll always just love talking to new authors, talking to existing authors. I love books. I love reading books. I love writing books. I love editing books. I love all things that are book related. And I was skimming across Instagram, just scrolling, minding my own business, and I came across this beautiful little girl reading a book. And I stopped and I invited her on to talk about her book, ReRe the Reader, as you see on the screen. And her name is Takiyah. And we have her mother here, Tanika. Both Tanika and Takiyah Prowell, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you, thank you. And it's wonderful to see Black women, Black families, especially. I think the day I saw you might have been the weekend we found out we had a Black vice president. Um,
Yep.
Takiyah, how does it make you feel to know that we have a Black woman that's going to be the vice president?
Happy.
It makes me happy too. What about it makes you what about it makes you happy? If you don't know, you could just say you don't know. It's okay.
What makes you happy?
I don't know.
But you don't know now, but you'll know one day.
Mhm.
As a little girl, we didn't get to see Black women in powerful positions.
Right.
And so it's awesome. I believe the tagline is my VP looks like me, because in corporate America, I don't know if you know what that is, but at work and a lot
Right.
of jobs, you don't have a lot of Black women who are in powerful positions. And so to see that there is a VP that looks like me, acts like me. She came into Mary J. Blige. I was like, oh, White
Right.
House about to be smelling like
Right.
cocoa butter and and collard greens.
Right.
And so
Right.
that's awesome. And what grade are you in, Takiyah?
You, not me. What grade you in?
Third,
Third grade. That's awesome. And how old are you?
8.
That's awesome. Did y'all hear that she is 8 years old and she's in the third grade and she has already written her very first book? So, for you people who keep talking about, oh, I don't know if I'm ready, and you 30, 40, 50 ish on up, you have
Uh,
no excuse.
right.
She
Right.
has school, she has responsibilities, and we'll talk about the responsibilities on both the parent and the child. But
Right.
everybody has responsibilities in this world, but we're not going to use those excuses to not get it done. So, Tanika, I'll speak with you first. I'm just
Right.
about, when did you guys realize that she was gifted in writing?
Oh, I would say about maybe a year and a half ago. Her brother, my son, he owns his own business. He sells candy, cake pops, and things like that. And then she saw me writing, and she was like, "Well, I want my own business, but I like to read and I like to write. How can we put it all together?" And then she started developing all types of little characters and everything. But her character ReRe, that was birthed, I would say, like the end of last year. So
Oh,
she's
wow.
been writing for a little while. She has a little journal and everything she writes in.
That's awesome. Well, Takia, Takaya. I told him I was going to try not to mess it up, y'all.
That's all.
Takaya. Takaya, what did it
Yes.
feel like when you first realized I'm going to become an author? Like, what did you even know what that word meant? I mean, you're only in third grade, so you're just getting started fresh. Did you know what the word author even meant when you decided you wanted to write a book?
Yeah.
So, how does it feel to be a published author?
It feels good.
It feels good. It does. And what feels good about it?
That I
What's your
could write.
favorite part of being an author?
My favorite part of being an author is that I could write more books whenever.
Right. In translation, we can always tell a new story.
Mm-hmm.
and
Yep.
and I have the same. I say the same thing. I have 6 books, and 7 on the printer. It'll be out in January. I don't have a children's book
Good.
yet, but I thought about writing one day, but that's a whole different ball game. You'll have to tell me how you did the children's book. So I understand as an author, you can always tell a different story, and the next story doesn't have to look anything like your last story. And that's
Right.
why I'm so grateful that God ordained me to be not only an author, but also a publisher where I can help people tell their story. And then once they've told their old story, they can tell the next story and the next story, and they never have to stop telling their story. So
Yep.
tell me a little bit, Takiyah, Takiyah. Can I just call you T? Okay, till my brain gets it right. So Takiyah, um, tell me a little bit about ReRe the reader. Who is she?
ReRe the Reader is
Speak up.
ReRe the Reader is she's a girl
Mm-hmm.
and she has superpowers by reading a book, but her identity is a secret and nobody knows it. Not even the kids in the neighborhood and not even her family.
Oh wow. So the only time her superpower comes out is when she reads a book? Well,
She
that is
carries a
definitely a
special
superpower.
she carries a special book wherever she goes.
Well, I'm gonna flip through here and see some of these characters. How cute. I love it. So the illustrations are wonderful. Who did the illustrations, Tanika?
Jasmine Mills. Yeah,
Okay, so
Jasmine Mills.
just a freelance artist.
Yeah, she's based in Virginia, I think. So we did most of our communication, online. But
Mhm.
she did a phenomenal job, and Takiyah had it set up in her head how she wanted ReRe to look, what her skin tone would be, and everything. And Jasmine brought it all to life.
That's awesome. Well, I
Hmm.
won't show the people too much of the book. Well, Amazon that did that, not me. But um,
That's all right.
Tarina, tell me about Tarina. Is that ReRe?
Yeah,
Is ReRe's real name Tarina? I like that name. How'd you come up with that?
I have a friend I have a friend and her name is Serena, and then I wanted her name to be like Serena's name, so then I just added a T instead of an S, and I came up with Serena.
Very creative. Very creative. So I love kids. Their brain isn't traumatized as ours is. So
Hmm.
it was a little harder for us to get our creative juices flowing, but I
Right.
love it. So Tarina loved everything about second grade because learning helped her grow in so many ways. I believe that children need to know that education is important. So
Hmm.
how important is education to you?
Okay.
Really, really important.
And I believe you because you wrote a whole book about it. When people tell me they want to write a book and then they don't do it, I'll be like, it's not really that important to you. So
Hmm.
I definitely believe that it's very important to you, education. And do you know what you want to be when you grow up yet?
Mhm.
What?
I wanna be a nurse, a ballerina, a veterinarian, and
Is it something else? I thought it was that three. You added something else.
no,
Child, that's your life right there. Nursing school gonna take you to your 30s. But you can be a ballerina now though. I was a ballerina and a cheerleader and an actress. So some of those things you can do as a kid, and then you don't have to wait until you're grown to go try to be a ballerina. They look for ballerinas when they're young, like your age. Do you
Hmm.
know the black ballerina? Do you know her name? Well, there's more than one, but the one that went all the way to what's the school called? Juilliard. Did she go
Hmm.
to Juilliard?
Was it? I think so. I know she was part of the American Dance Company. I
American
think.
Dance. Yeah.
So
What's her name?
yeah,
Have you studied her?
she studied her. Do you remember her name though? Starts with an
mm,
M.
Misty.
Mm-hmm.
Misty Copeland.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So she started when she was around, I believe your age, somewhere around 6, 7, 8.
I have a book.
Mm-hmm.
Do you? I've always wanted to read it. Can you tell me about it?
It's about it was about how old she was when she started, and it was about how old she was when she got to it. And
When she got to what?
when she got to become a ballerina.
Do you know why they didn't want her to be a ballerina? Does the book say why they didn't want her to be a ballerina?
Mm.
Do you remember it saying anything about the size of her body?
Mm-hmm.
And she wasn't the average size of a ballerina, and she was really muscular. Did they talk about that?
Mm-hmm. They did. You just haven't read it in a while.
I just heard her story, so I wasn't sure which part of the book was in there. But that's one of the awesome. I think our world is going in a shift.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't know because you're so little. You don't know what you just kind of you just like, I'm here. But our world is going in a shift, and Black women are being honored more than they have in the past, and for that we're grateful. So if you want to go be a ballerina, girl, go be a ballerina. They're opening the doors of the church, so
right.
we're gonna go ahead and walk right in them. Well, back to you, Tanika. What was the process like of publishing? Like, did you get frustrated? Did you want to throw in the towel? Like, as a new publisher, I mean, I publish for a living, so I know the strain that, all the finding the editor. Well, I don't know if you need an editor for your small book, but the formatting. So when you had to go through all of that, what was that process like?
Well, it's very different than like your adult memoir, nonfiction, fiction books. Because I'm a co-author of an anthology book. It's called Mom Boss. And it's basically tells the stories of mothers whose children all own businesses. And I was basically just telling my story about my son. I'm sorry, it's hashtag Mom Boss. And so doing this is my first time in the publishing process with the children's book. And it's really not as easy as you think. The easy part was, when she wrote it. Yep, that's it. When she wrote it, that was easy. Getting it to an editor, and the editor was a elementary school teacher, so that helped a lot because she was able to tell us, how to like restructure some of the sentences so that the children would enjoy it a little bit more, where it'll flow better. That was fine. But finding the illustrator part can be difficult because she had a certain vision for how she wanted the pictures to look. So we had to comb through a lot of different illustrators. And then, like you said, Black women are having more doors open to them. And I wanted to be intentional about who the illustrator was. I wanted the illustrator to be a Black woman because she would know how to draw the Afro puffs, the edges of ReRe and things like that. So I was real intentional about that. So just finding a illustrator to capture the pictures that she had in her head. Now, if it was in my head, it would be different, but I'm trying to find somebody for her head. So that was a little different. And then the formatting can be a little difficult because depending on who you're printing to or publishing from, like whether it's KDP or Ingram Spark, the margins have to be a certain way or they'll reject it. That can be difficult. So yeah, children's books are more challenging than what I thought they were.
Right. Well, and here's what I have to tell people when they say, well, I'm just going to self-publish. I'm going to do everything myself. That's a misconception. You're not supposed to go do everything yourself. You just need, but you do have to manage the process because if you don't know where to go next, you're stuck. So how did you find out the process, or did people just tell you this is what you need to do and you just went and did it, or did you research it first?
A lot of research. told my friend, a friend of mine who just also released a children's book, her first children's book this summer. We kind of were bouncing back and forth about the process of that help. A lot of research. I was telling another friend of mine that I went to Ingram Spark KDP University this year because I was doing a lot of reading about like the publishing, the requirements, the qualifications, and then the visionary author there of Mom Boss, Ariel Biggs, her son published a couple of books. So I give her credit as Takiyah's business coach because she was able to walk us through like what to do and what to look out for and things like that. So that helped a lot. Like you said, it takes a village to raise a child, and it takes a village to come up with a good children's book too.
It does. It does. It takes a village to write a book, especially if you're not going to get a coach that knows everything and you're going to so that's the beauty of my company. Is called On the Right Track. So anybody watching, you're like, ooh, this sounds good, but I don't know anybody that can do that. So I do everything from the day you pick up the pen to infinity and beyond. So branding and marketing of the book, how to sell it. Now I don't have done for you services like I don't make flyers for people, but I can tell you this is what your flyer needs to look like and this is who you need to call. I pretty much can take out the legwork for you. I'm just not at a place where I always tell people the right amount of money, I can make that happen for you. I can do a done for you service if you want to do you want to pay that rate. But I say that to say, so I created, because when I was like yourself, just starting out, it took me so long. I had to go to, back then, I think Ingram Spark might have been out, but it wasn't as popular. So Amazon was really the only thing out. So I went to Create Space University. That was before we had KDP. So I researched. I did go to I went through a seminar like for 9 months, but it was just so much that I missed. And then could be that I didn't miss it. Maybe she didn't say it, but either way, it's like I had to go find the missing pieces. And so I created my company to be the missing pieces. I was like, you know what? If you come here, I can help you with the manuscript. And I loved English. Takiyah, do you love English?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, yeah, okay. Well, I grew. It's funny because in elementary school, when I would get in trouble, my dad would make me read the encyclopedia and a dictionary, and so over time I became a lover of words. I don't think it was I think it was God and my parents knew who I was going to become, but so I do the editing. I do. I know how to edit. I don't do all the editing because I have too many clients to do that, but I know book structure and all of that. So I say, if somebody comes to me, they don't ever have to try to go to another person to figure out anything else in the steps, because that time, that 2 or 3 week span that you have to go track somebody down. Did you do this? Nope. You can just come to me and I'll handle everything. Now, if you got to get t-shirts made or whatever, I can send you to a person, or mugs or whatever the case may be. Is this your face mask that matches this book? Or is that somebody else?
That's somebody else, I think. Because we haven't
right
had.
there.
Yeah, no, that's somebody else.
Oh, okay. But just, different things like that. I don't necessarily have to do t-shirts and stuff like that, but as long as I can send you somewhere. So that's awesome that you took the time. And I always tell people that you either going to have time or money.
Right.
If you don't have the money, you're going to have to find the time.
I had to make time.
Have the time, you're going to have to find the money, whichever one works for you. But as she just told you, she researched, she knew. And then I always believe that God orders your steps. Once you started talking to one person, they said, okay, now go talk to that person. Okay, now go talk to that person. And then they were able to put your assembly line together. Well, that's awesome. Do you guys have anything in the works in the future? Any books coming out? Any personal books you're going to write?
So I'll let her go first, and then I'll tell what you got going on.
We got merchandise.
You got what?
Merchandise.
Merchandise, really? What kind?
What kind of merchandise?
Shirts.
Oh, look,
What are they
shirts.
gonna
What,
Masks and stickers.
what did they have on there?
ReRe the Reader.
So she
Make sure you let me know when it comes out so I can get mine. I'm gonna get my book today.
so on I think Friday the 13th. She's gonna launch her merchandise site based off of the character ReRe the Reader here and Tarina. So some of it will have images of Tarina and some of it will have images of ReRe the Reader in her costume there. And that's Friday. Are you gonna write another book? You are? What is it gonna be about?
It's gonna be about ReRe.
So it's gonna be a sequel. So she's hasn't started yet. She wanna wait until after she launched the merchandise, kind of get over the hustle and bustle of the holidays. And she's gonna get started on the sequel of ReRe the Reader. So we're excited about that. And then me myself, because everybody keeps saying, okay, that's great. You was in the anthology. You helped your daughter publish a book. I'm helping my nephew publish a comic book as well. But everybody's like, when are you gonna put out something? So I'm working on that as well. I'm working on a memoir, and I'm working on a children's book that focuses on like Black people, as far as like not Black people, I'm sorry, figures in Black history that are not as known, like the underdogs, the unsung heroes of Black history. So it's taken me a little while to do it because I want to make sure the information is accurate, is right, and I want to turn that into a children's book series.
That sounds awesome. So you guys have some good things in the works. Are you gonna do it? Are you gonna do it yourself again? Or are you gonna get somebody?
Yeah, I'm
First time around. After the first time around, I tell people that's like having your first baby. Well, I only have one, but I heard the second one pops right out. It's like it's
this
like
one,
boom.
This one did come out quicker than my son. She's the second, so yeah, sit back. So, yeah.
Well, do you have any questions for me? Did I ask all the good questions? Anything else you want to tell your readers about your book or about you? Anything like that?
What you want to tell them about ReRe the Reader? Why is ReRe the Reader important? Why did you write the book? Why is it important?
Because they want kids all over the world to know that there's power in reading.
There is power in reading, and I couldn't have said it better myself. Tanika, is there anything else that you would like to tell everyone before we start closing out? We're not done, so.
So as far as ReRe the Reader goes, you could go through our website, www.faithrightnow.com. That's www.faithwrite now.com. And we'll have the link to where people could get the not only the ReRe the Reader book, but Mom Boss and the merchandise through ReRe the Reader. And the ebook can be purchased through your Amazon here, like you have pulled up. So
you said Faith Right Now.
.com. Yep.
And what I try to do, and if I can remember, is to put the link in the video, but just in case, that's why I try to pull it up while the video is on. Oh, what a wonderful, beautiful website.
Thank you.
So both of your books are on there. Oh, that's awesome. So if you want either one of their books, and then of course you saw on Amazon, you could get the ebook over there. And then what's Jay-Z? Oh, that's what a handsome young man.
Yeah, that's my son. That's his business. He has a merchandise site as well. He is in the making. I'm just gonna say he's in the making, or he's in the thought process of coming up with a children's book based on his business. So it probably won't come out in 2020, but he's probably gonna come out with that next year.
That's awesome. Well, I love entrepreneurs, no matter what your specialty is, whether it's a service, whether it's books, whether it's makeup, jewelry. I don't know. I don't care. I just love to see people living their dreams, no matter how
Mhm.
old they are. And I love young entrepreneurs because when I was young, I was an entrepreneur. I was
Mhm.
always selling something. Now it wasn't as popular as it is now,
Right.
where um, everybody's kind of honing in on their gifts and things like that. So when we selling donuts, and I did hair, all my whole junior high life, I did hair. Everybody would come over my house and be like, "Can you hook me up for the weekend?" And I'm literally doing hair from Thursday night to Saturday when we getting ready to go
Uh,
out just for that one night. And they drop me a little 20 every once in a while, but mostly I just did it for free. And so I'm glad that now we know to tell our children charge.
right. Right.
But
Right.
it was a pleasure to speak with you today. So before we close, Takiyah,
Mhm.
Takiyah, you still with me? Can you encourage people who are afraid to write a book? Can you give them some encouraging words for me?
Mhm.
So what encouraging words you
What
have?
would you say?
If if you want to write, just write.
And there you have it, folks. If you
Yep.
want to write, just write.
That's right.
It just seems right to me. And Tanika, if you could tell anybody, something encouraging about the process, what would it be?
um, you know what? Just having your story be told. That's like one of the most inspiring part of the process. Just tell your story. Nobody can tell your story like you. You know, God gave all of us a story. Everybody has a story and more to tell. So just tell your story. And even though, like, especially like I said, children's books can be a little bit more difficult, but when you get that hard copy in
Yeah.
your hand, it feels so good. Like you crossed the finish line and won the whole race. So just keep going, keep writing, and tell your story and tell it authentically.
Amen. I love it.
Yep.
And that's one of my power words. Be authentic. Thank
Mm-hmm.
you again, Tanika. Thank you for taking the time out to come and speak with me. Thank you, Takiyah. I can't wait to see you. I got it right by the end, girl. It took my brain a minute, but I can't wait to see the magical things that you do in this world. I'm sure you've heard the saying, "Black girl magic." Black Girls Rock. Well, girl, I hope to see you rocking it out in 2021 and beyond. If you guys need anything, you're welcome to hit me up on Instagram. Let me know when your things come out and I will blast it. I mean, I'll put it all over everything that I have so that we
Thank
can get
you.
people to purchase your stuff. And it's just to support not only a young entrepreneur, but also another Black woman entrepreneur like
Yeah.
myself. Do you guys have any last and final words before we go?
Thank you. Just right. Just right, y'all. Like she said, just right. Just keep
That's
writing.
it. And with that, we'll tell you goodbye and we'll see you
Right.
next time. Have a wonderful day.
Bye. Thank you for having us.
Bye.
You're welcome.